Hi everyone, Amanda Jane here from Amanda Jane Crafts, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make this easy beginner beanie, and it's worked in half double crochet, and it's simply a rectangle folded in half and gathered up at the top with a band of slip stitch round the bottom. Now the first thing to do is to note that we're going to be using a bulky or chunky yarn, but in fact with this system you can use any yarn that you have handy. So the first thing to do is to take the end of your yarn, place it on your crown and work out how deep you want your hat to be. So I've decided I'm going to do mine just a bit deeper than the one I've already crocheted. So we measure that, so that's the depth of my work. We measure that on a ruler, and that for me is 19 centimeters long. So I am going to leave a long tail. Remember the 19. Yours might be shorter or longer. You might be doing a children's hat. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to chain enough stitches to make 19 centimeters, and I'm going to leave a nice long tail for gathering up at the end of my work. So I'm using a bulky weight yarn here, and it is very bulky. It was something I found in the cupboard under the stairs. So let's see how many of these stitches I will need for 19 centimeters. Probably not that many. See how we go. Now don't crochet this first chain too tightly. How are we going here? 19 centimeters? Probably not quite. Put that on there. 17. Couple more, 2, 3. Let's do 3 more. 19 centimeters. Perfect. Now you could do one more just for the turning chain, but we won't worry about that. Okay, so you're going to use, as I said, bulky, or in the UK we call it chunky yarn. And that's one up from worsted or Aran weight yarn, so it's thicker than Aran weight. So we're going to start off by doing a half double crochet into the second stitch. So simply yarn over. Now because this yarn is very thick, I would go into just one of the loops. It's too much to fiddle around going through the back bumps. Just go through one of the loops, and we're going to go all the way along with our half double crochet. Yarn over, let's push that away. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're simply going to do that all the way down to the end. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all 3, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 3, insert your hook, pull through 3, and you're going to get through this bulky weight yarn pretty quickly. And I was lucky to have found this random ball of very lovely wool. I think it's pure wool with some merino in it. Should be lovely and warm. So I'm just doing these half double crochet. That's in US terms. In a UK excuse me, terms, that will be half treble. All the way down to the end. So this is our setup row, if you like. And this is great if you've never crocheted before. just a very easy, we're going to use this stitch throughout, and then on the brim it's just a single crochet, or you could do a slip stitch like I've done. We'll do a single crochet this time, so to give you a variety. So we've done our half double crochets all the way down to the end. One chain and turn your work. So your long tail is on the right now, which I'm going to do another chain because that will bring it up a little bit. We're going to start in this first stitch here, and we're going to be crocheting into the back loop. Just let me point this out with my tapestry needle. So we're only going to go into this part of the stitch. So you'll need to tip your work towards you to see that particular strand. Normally we go through both, but today we're going to go through this one here. So yarn over, tip your work towards you, insert your hook into the back loop, pull up a loop. Now because this is thick, I'm pulling it away from me slightly, and then pull through all three. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through three. Yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull through all three, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop and pull through, and keep doing that all the way along. Don't worry if it looks a little bit holy, that will sort itself out as we go forward. My goodness, I'm having to pull away at a lot of yarn here. Now you're simply, because this is going around your head, you're simply going to keep doing this same row of half double crochet all the way until you can stretch the rectangle comfortably around your head. And when I did this with my chunky or bulky weight yarn, I did 33 rows. So this is, you might do more, you might do fewer. So that depends on the size of your head and how tightly you want to pull it onto your head. I don't like my hats too tight, so I might do a couple more rows than somebody who likes it firm. So when you get to the last stitch, you're going to have to really turn your work towards you, because you've got to identify this V and you want to go in here. Sorry, I'm using this dark yarn. I hope that's clear. Yarn over, pull through, chain two, turn your work. Now because this is pure wool, it's got a nice sheen to it. It's really lovely. So this half double crochet is what you're going to repeat over and over again, and I'll do 30 rows and then come back and we'll have a look at the fit and joining up and making our we'll join up here, gather up, and then we'll do the seam and do the edge. So press pause on the video, Finish your rows until it reaches round your head, that way, round your head, and we will finish off in a moment. So I've finished all the rows that I need for the circumference of my head, and slightly fewer rows than the 33 I did there, because this is slightly thicker bulky or chunky yarn. Just to remind you, we're using a 6mm crochet hook, but you know, if you're using double knitting and using the same approach to creating this beanie, then you'll use a smaller hook. So you might use a 4, and if you're using Aran weight yarn, then you'll use a 5. Now finish your work with your tail at the bottom and your hook at the bottom, so you're finishing on an odd row. And now what we're going to do is we're going to join our work right sides together, and right side is where you have, oh sorry, I knocked my phone, where you have the tail on the left hand side. So bring the two edges together, right sides together. So our hook is now next to our tail, and the reason is that we want to finish off our edge with the same yarn. So we're going to work down this seam and then round the bottom of the beanie, just like this one. So first thing we're going to do is to slip stitch these two pieces together, these two edges together. And to do this, I am going to go through, I might do just one chain just to finish that off, is I'm going to go through the front loop of my work and through the first stitch just here. Now sometimes I find it easier for the first two stitches just to hook it round with my right hand, which looks a little strange. Get back to proper single slip stitches in a moment. So I'm going through the front loop and then the next stitch of the back. Keep lining it up, front loop and next stitch. Now I have 22 stitches, but you may well have fewer or more depending on the head that you're making the beanie for. Obviously if you're making this for a child, then it's going to be much smaller. You can use the same approach for a baby even. So, you know, you can use this pattern over and over again. And it's good to be able to freestyle some of your work so that you're not having to read patterns or work to a particular style. Each one of these is going to look slightly different. So I'm just working my way down, picking up as best I can all the way down to the bottom. And then in a moment what we'll do is we will gather up the top of the hat, and you'll see how I do that. So this is really simple, there's no shaping in it, it's just literally a rectangle folded and gathered. We're going to do the gathering first because then we can try it on for size and see how much of a border we need, if any, at the lower edge, the bit round just above your eyes. So just finishing off these last couple of stitches through here, through the bottom. Pull that up and just leave that loose, and we'll come back to that in a moment. So now we are going to thread our tail. That's why we needed a long tail. I'm going to thread our tapestry needle. Now I've got a really large-eyed tapestry needle here, and literally what you want to do, now remember it's right sides together, so I'm on the wrong side, which is great, and you want to go through quite near the edge. So don't worry about going through this hole, just keep going in and out all the way around. You don't want too much bulk, so you want to actually be much nearer the edge than you think. And this will all gather up really easily. In and out. It's called a running stitch. Literally, you're running your needle up and down. You don't have to do one stitch at a time. You can go in and out, all the way around. Lots of people don't like doing a bit of sewing, but this is just literally takes 2 or 3 minutes, so it's not going to be very tricky to do. I like crochet patterns that are seamless, where you're joining as you go along. But this is one time then you need to do a little bit of stitching up and down. It's going to be a nice warm beanie. Now you could turn it into a hat where you crochet it much deeper, so it's the ribbed half double crochet, and if you make it about 30 stitches that you're crocheting, then you've got enough to turn back. So you turn back like a brim. Right, must be nearly round. Let's see how we go. A little bit more. I can hardly see because this is so dark. I should have put a stitch marker in, but that's fine. I'll just keep going around a little bit further. Draw this up without breaking the yarn. Just wiggle it so that it's coming together. Now, because this is very thick, you might struggle to actually draw it up so there's no hole at all. This is where you're going to grab this in your fist and work across from one side to the other. Remember, we are on the inside, so this is not going to be seen. So do a couple of stitches this way, and you need to pull with your fingers and then gradually work your way round across, and it will gradually tighten up. You can hear it in my voice, tighten up. create a nice firm center. I've lost my thread. So fluffy, this yarn. It's wool, actually. It's 100% wool. There we go. You can keep going backwards and forwards. Darn your ends in really, really, really carefully so that nothing's going to come undone. There we go. I'm going to go back this way. And slip off the end. So, and then turn my work out the right way. And now I suggest that you try this on and work out how deep you want your brim to be. So with this one, I needed a deep brim because I'd only done like 17 stitches, but I've done 22 here. So I probably only need a single round just to finish off the edge. Or if I'd run out of yarn, and this only takes 50 grams, I could just leave it as it is. So it's a true beanie. But I think it's nice just to finish off this edge. So I'm just going to show you how to do that, and we can do a slip stitch or we can do a single crochet. And I think today I'm going to do a single crochet all the way round. So to do a single crochet, because we've got our hook at the outer edge of our work very cleverly, we're in the position to restart our bottom edge simply. Now I want to make this a little tighter, so that's why I like to do a finishing off round. Simply insert your hook into the stitch that is just to the left of the join, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Then I'm going to find the stitch before this rib here. So just into here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and then just after the rib, you want to make the tension quite tight. Just before the rib, just after the rib, might tighten that up a touch. And this just finishes the lower edge off. Just before the rib, just after the rib, just before the rib, and just after, just before. If you don't go into exactly the same space on each one, don't worry too much about it, because it'll all work out just fine in the end. I mean, this is quite I'd call this a rustic look. It's quite Nordic really, and it's chunky yarn. It's not going to, it's not precise, it's not lace, so go with the flow a little bit, don't worry too much. Probably just a few more to do. Oops, well, that really was the wrong place. So I've just got to go to there. Many more to go. Just before, just after, just before, just after. Now this is the same stitch that you can use with single crochet, the ribbing stitch, for cuffs or the bottom of a cardigan or a jumper. It's a really useful stitch to master. Sometimes it's sewn on, sometimes it is integrated into the work. Right, we're nearly back round. Do one more single crochet just here. You can see it's not an exact science. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch just by entering that first stitch we did, first single crochet here, and then pulling straight through. One chain, and then I'm just going to do a single crochet all the way around. Now you might want to check that that fits your head all right. I like it to sort of, you can stretch it out a bit, it'll give. So yarn over and do a single crochet into that first stitch. Sorry, a single crochet, not into half double crochet mode, and then a single crochet all the way around. So this is just a final finishing edge, and if you've checked it properly, then this should fit around your head nice and snugly, and be all ready to wear yourself. You could make a few, give them away, they make great gifts. Everybody needs a snuggy hat for winter, and in some parts of the world earlier on in the year too. So nearly all the way around. More haste, less speed. Just coming round to the beginning. Then I'm going to just check I'm at the beginning. Loop through, leave a tail. And then we're just going to darn in this end with our great big darning needle. Just turn your work, bring that inside a little bit and run your tail up the seam. A few stitches this way, and then run it down in the opposite direction. Try and go through between the fibers to make it super secure. and then just run it across a little bit. It has the tendency, yarn, to work its way loose, so go in different directions and take your time. Take probably longer than I've taken just to darn that in. And there we have our second beanie with a single crochet edge. So now I have two. That one I might give away, and so you can take your choice. You can either have one with the slip stitch deeper edging, or in which case you're going to use fewer stitches, or just a simple beanie with a quick single crochet edge here. So the lighter blue one is a little loose around the bottom, and this one is nice and tight. It won't slip off at all. And if you want to, you can finish off with a little pom-pom on the top. I tend to like my beanies just plain like that. So thanks so much for watching this simple beginner beanie pattern. Remember, you can do this with any yarn. Match your hook to your yarn, and if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell for upcoming videos. I hope you have a lovely day, so take care. Thanks, bye.